Is a market crash about to happen? And have all those people who were waiting for prices to come down and be less expensive finally gotten their wish? In today's video, we'll go over what happened in the real estate market in Kelowna in September, see if it's crashing or if one is coming, and have a look at what happened to prices. I'm Tyrell Boake, a realtor in Kelowna, and if you're new to the channel, I provide you with useful information and help you navigate the real estate market so you can make a decision that makes sense for you. The benchmark price of a single-family home in Kelowna fell in September by about 6%, which was a decrease of just over $60,000. The price remains over $1 million at $1,006,000, and believe it or not, it is still higher than it was 6 months ago and more than it was a year ago. The benchmark price had either increased or stabilized month to month since January, and since the price corrections we saw in mid-2022. As you can see from the trend line in the graph, the benchmark price has been growing steadily throughout 2023, however that growth has slowed in recent months as inventory increases and sales decrease. Speaking of sales, they were down 25% month over month and year over year. Now, that number could be slightly skewed as the area suffered from a devastating wildfire that displaced many people for a couple of weeks. Some even tragically lost their homes, and real estate transactions were put on hold basically for a couple of weeks. That being said, 25% of the homes on the market sold in September, which means that 75% homes listed did not sell. Inventory is growing, but it's still tight historically, but buyers do have more and more choices. And what that means for sellers is there's more and more competition for those buyers' eyes. The average price for a single-family home remained relatively unchanged in September, increasing in fact by about $5,000 to $1,093,000. This could simply be due to the fact that some more expensive homes sold during the month, and is the reason I like to rely on the benchmark price more, as it is a more accurate representation of what is actually happening in the market. The average price has been relatively unchanged and stable over the last 6 months. We currently have just over 10 months of available inventory, which is clearly a buyer's market, and the homes that are selling are taking on average about 60 days to sell. If you're curious about townhomes, the benchmark price also took a dip in September, with the benchmark price falling over $20,000 from the previous month to $762,100. However, the price of a townhome is still up from the spring, but down slightly from this time last year. Townhome sales were down 37% from the previous month and down 10% from a year ago. Only 26% of townhomes listed sold, which means that 3 out of 4 or 75% aren't selling. We currently have just over 8 months of active inventory in townhomes, which is a buyer's market, and the average townhome is taking 54 days to sell. If you have questions about buyers and sellers markets and what they mean, I'll link a video up here that does a good job of explaining the differences. The condo market also declined in September, with prices falling about $40,000 or 8.5%. and dropping to the lowest level we have seen in 2 years to a benchmark price of $481,000. The condo market fared a little better than single families or townhomes, with 30% of listings on the market selling, but that still means that 7 out of 10 listings aren't selling. Still, the condo market's a buyer's market with just over 7 months of active inventory, and it's taking on average 58 days for a unit to sell. September saw a drop in the market, and I'm wondering if it was mostly caused by wildfires in the region, if increased interest rates are having an effect on people's affordability, or if it's just the start of the seasonal slowdown. But then again, it might be a combination of all three. It's too early to tell with inventory still being on the tight side, but I really don't think we're headed for a market crash. Not yet. But prices did become less expensive over the last 30 days. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are we headed for a market crash now that prices have come down a little bit? Or do you just think it was a 1-month thing and prices will continue to stabilize through the fall? If you'd like to book a discovery call with me, hit the first link in the description where you'll be taken to my calendar so you can book a time that works best for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.